I thought, without being too cumbersome here with this film, I'll just let some of it play. Like I said, we like to start all of our workouts with some ball handling. Whether it's, in this case, it's a 6-man group here. So, whether it's line drills, we started this summer, just 2-ball stuff to get loose, same time dribble, alternating back, and then kind of giving some different commands and working on some terminology. That's the other thing, being, part of year ones now at SMU and Rice with Coach Lanier. So here, just a line drill at the free throw line, half court and 3/4 court, doing a different move. In this case, we call it a kill dribble, just killing it 1, 2, 3, hard kill, as if you're splitting a trap, but just being able to change the rhythm and the pace of the dribble, keeping your eyes up, bending at your knees, not at your waist, seeing the floor, all those things. So I'm going to speed through this, but here, same thing, alternating back, but just getting guys moving, talking, waking them up. Next progression here, just killing it, that terminology. When they hear kill dribble, they know what it is, but now they're killing it on the spin. Every time they change direction in this, we talk about really having a push out dribble, change in speed and change in direction. This was early, so a little sloppy. Anytime we do this ball handling stuff, we talk about if you bobble it or you fumble it, treat it like a turnover. So we'll do that, just kind of groups, full court, down and back. Last one, getting out of a trap, right? A retreat dribble. So 3 out, 3 dribbles out, 2 dribbles back, crossover, and then stretch the trap. But just getting them moving, ball handling being an emphasis. We want to be a low turnover team. Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to have a routine when you come in the gym and workouts, working on ball handling first.
I do love that, because people, it seems now, they don't like the standing, dribbling 2 balls, doing that, but using the opportunity. I think more coaches now are thinking about how can we maximize our time and maybe even teach other aspects of our program. And especially for you all, year one, the terminology and more, you're hearing this more from coaches, how important terminology is to like your entire culture of your program. Right. And so even to be able to use that time to, as they saw, on the move, training a particular skill, but then also forcing their mind to be, I think that's the main thing. Most coaches don't like the mindless skill development. And so focusing in on thinking about the terminology and what we're doing and how we're doing it and when you would be able to use it, taking that drill or that skill to the next level from being the simplified, senseless or mindless drills that we've done kind of in the past.
No, I totally agree. So we would go from ball handling there, just to some finishing, but along with finishing reads. So this was just one workout. I tried to splice some different things, but we would go start at the right elbow. And basically you see a coach here with the pad basically simulating, okay, you got your shoulders by the defender. It's you in the rim. Let's go ahead and play off one. It could be inside foot, outside hand. It could be any kind of overhand, underhand. For that day right now, it was same. So we're going left, right, potentially there as well. All right, so now there's a body in front. And so not only working on finishing, but finishing reads. So defenders in front. On this day, we were working on just a shot fake, get them up in the air, violent with the shot fake, and then finish through contact for an and one. So we'll go short segments here. There's 2.5 minutes left here on this segment, but just short from ball handling to finishing. We want to finish around the rim. One terminology thing you talk about year one, we're trying to implement a shot diet awareness. So anything in the paint rim, at the rim for us is going to be green. Anything non-rim, paint, high paint area, we're going to call yellow. And then red being non-paint, non-rim. A catch and shoot 3 on a catch and shoot inside out type 3, that's going to be green for us as well. So green being good, red being bad, yellow in between. So how do you work on this? Well, you got to rep finishing. Here, the defender, we mixed up the read here, and now he's in front and go a little Euro here on this day. So every day we mixed up the finishes. We always put a GA or a coach there as a defender. So they're not only working on the finish, but they're getting a read.
What was the red again?
So we would say anything that's non-paint, non-rim, just long, tough 2s, contested 2s. We're working through a system there. Use the gold, silver, bronze package at SMU last year. So kind of redefining just to get our guys understanding we're trying to get to the paint and we're trying to get to the rim. Free throw line, obviously getting fouled would be green for us too. But we want green. So instead of saying, hey, don't shoot that, we're going to try to, hey, we need more green, less red, more green. type mentality.
For your finishes, do you guys teach like these are the 7 finishes that we have in our package, or is it there more freedom to it? How do you go about doing that?
Initially, the same way you were talking about the ball handling, trying to name everything. So it would be, for us, a Nova is a stride stop, turn, shot, kind of Villanova playing off that stride stop. So once you name it, we're not saying, hey, it's got to be one of these 3. We'll expose them to 5 to 6 at this point we have. And then from there, as we get back in the fall. But we want to expand guys' game, and some guys are better off the Barkley. We have a bigger guard, Trey Broadnax, with us now, and he's really good off the Barkley. So we'll make it player driven as well. Just another example of how we want to start out with finishing. So what we did this day, this is another day, side pick and roll option, but also playing out a get game. So we just said, hey, all right, we're going to start it with a get. The nail is going to be in. So you're going to play out of this slot drive, and then you're going to get the same reads there. So this was in the same type segment, but just mixing in a different way to get a finish. Early in the workout, we might start playing fast is something we want to do. We want to race in transition. It's a race to the corners. It's a race to the rim. So let's race. Well, this is an early, whether it's passing, ball handling, shooting, finishing, just getting some early shots, getting a workout going. 2 minutes left here on this segment, but it might be a 4-minute segment, 2 sides going, where you're just emphasizing, hey, we're running to the corner. We're looking to advance it in transition. So catch and shoot 3, that's green for us, like we mentioned. And then there we say, okay, now we're ripping and driving and getting a finish there. So these are just out of how we play. How can we get them going? How can we get, passing, shooting, ball handling involved? One other way, we did it, we play out of drags. So here, just a side pick and roll, get a piece of the paint. Respacing is important. And so we just had them throw it ahead, respace, and then these reading the closeout type situations, but they're getting that finish there at the end, like we talked about. So right here, they're playing against a GA. So it's not the mindless finishes that you were talking about or the mindless ball handling. Here it's still ball handling, passing, shooting, finishing, just getting going, but they're reading this closeout. So we're a 0.5 team. So you catch it, you make quick decisions. In that case, hands were down on the closeout. So it was just a structured way that we built in getting this workout going. Here you have a 4-man handling the ball, working on his handle. He might not play in a lot of pick and roll, but we're going to give him that opportunity to work on his game and kind of see what he can do. Because at this point, that's still what we're trying to do with these guys, is get to know what they can and can't do. But reading closeouts. So it's, yeah, you're working on your skills. Yeah, working on your finishes, but why finish which way? You got to be able to read and play against the defense. Similar type thing. So this time it's a pick and roll, right? But now you're reading, and now there's that Barkley. So Emery Lanier in this case, stride stop, has a body in front. That's why he's playing off the Nova. And then we have multiple actions, next ball coming, being introduced, building up those skill sets. So we set this up and we told him on this day that, hey, in practice when we play, we're going to be playing against a hard hedge. We do hard hedge. So what we would do against a hard hedge to punish it is we would snap it ahead, we call it. So they're snapping it. We introduce the word snap to them. So, hey, we're snapping it, one more to a drive. And then we're playing against the defense and scripting it a certain way. So within these early segments of workouts, we're trying to introduce, whether it's coverage solutions or terminology, along with passing, shooting, and finishing.
Just a question about the snap. I'm assuming that you go snap and then the one more, and that's a long closeout to the corner, that then you're exposing the long closeout to either shoot or to rip through and drive the baseline, right?
Yeah, so we would so that's one solution. We would also say, okay, before the snap, look to play out of the short roll. Or if you snap it, we would snap and try to hit that big initially on that punch, throwing it right to the roller there off the snap, or you can go snap one more. But, wanting our guys to understand, okay, it's an aggressive coverage. What am I even looking at as a pick and roll handler? Okay, you can snap it, or you could even snap it back. So where you're hitting the shake guy early and kind of playing games with that, with X5, committing 2 to the ball so early, you can maybe punish it on the backside as well by snapping it back. So here, just trying to script, we play out of 4-out or 5-out spacing. We play a lot out of these slot drives. And so we started the ball in the corner. We're emphasizing, all right, passing, right? So you're throwing strikes, you're hitting hands, you're making quick decisions. And then in this case, the nail maybe could have been in a little bit more. We were trying to simulate that so we can stampede that. And then we're getting those finishes over a defender, but really emphasizing 4-point line spacing. So here, good spacing. And so trying to build these habits early on. This was June, this was July. And now, all right, why am I stampeding it? Because the nail's in. Every pass, is it a strike? We're evaluating those. And then obviously you're trying to finish. And we talk about finishing. All right, that's green for us. Being able to finish high off the glass, getting your eyes, finding that spot and getting comfortable being able to finish over length, because you're going to have to finish different ways. So there, the young man I referenced earlier who's really good on a Barkley, here he is on a Nova and being able to knock that in. All right, now it's going slot, corner, 0.5. Can we attack the closeout, rip drive, finish? So I'll breeze through these a little bit. All right, so similar baseline drive. We have our same, concept, different terminology. Maybe we're hitting the drift. We talk about that. And now one more, and now we're making this middle drive. And now we're saying, okay, what are we reading? Body in front, playing off 2 feet, but just almost an assembly line with reads. It's scripted at first. It's build up at the end. And then now on a short closeout, being able to just catch it, ready to shoot. And then you could add the next layer of where you're reading. But the biggest thing, as you know, is just emphasizing spacing, pass quality, terminology, guys echoing what you're doing. Next option, we would say, okay, let's hit the diagonal. So they know when they drive baseline, they know they're going to have, a big centering up. They're going to have a drift, a diagonal, and then a fill behind there. So diagonal to a shot, diagonal to a one more. And then just playing games and layering these is something that we think that, you're just building conceptually not only what you're doing, but why you're doing it.
How do you feel like they do the transfer? Do you eventually get to 5-on-5 within most of your practices?
We play a lot of 5-on-5. We do. And I think that's the true test of a good team, the carryover that you get. We organize ourselves as a staff, offensive, defensive side of the ball. And we have, a group of us that focus on the offense and vice versa. And I think that's where you can really, if you're organized in a way, you're in real time correcting on the fly. I myself am watching more of the offensive side, and then you use film of that day's practice to watch with your film group, to send out to the team in a clip form, potentially to watch pre-practice the next day as you get going in the season. So I just think it's the combination of all of it that makes you really get the carryover that we need. And then so just reading closeouts and just getting that ball moving for us. We have some high IQ guys. We have guys that want to play the right way. We've really focused on that this off season. But getting to windows, delivering strikes, finishing, different types of drives, middle drive, slot drive, baseline drive, in order to be able to build up to 4-on-4 and 5-on-5. So a lot of shooting, scripted right now. It's these baseline drives. We got 4s and 5s making these drives, bigs, smalls, throwing strikes, making shots, getting shots out of your offense. But drive kick, trying to get a piece of the paint, emphasizing that. In this case here, we just added them with a late contest, following their pass, trying to, look for ways. And what I found, you asked what I've learned, personally as a coach since that video, I guess, archaic video you found on YouTube. But I think the players, as you introduce things and as you do things, they lead you into some new things. So, initially we weren't talking about contesting here, but one guy did, and, hey, let's add that. Mm-hmm. And so just a late contest, just building it like that. But driving kick, piece of the paint, we talk about getting to the window here. So talk has been important for us this offseason too. So if I'm getting to my window, I'm yelling window. If I'm open on a one more, I'm yelling one more. All the stuff that seems simple that we know, all good teams do. But different drive and kick scenarios. So now it's coming corner to slot, that middle drive, but just a lot of shooting out of, we're trying to get to the blender. That's really what we're trying to do. So can we script the blender? So here's what we did eventually. We started out small, and now, you have four coaches on the court. You have four players on the court. We started playing this to 50. You could play around to whatever number, but it only counts 2s are 2s and 3s are 3s, but it only counts if it goes in and if it's the right read. So here's the X5. He doesn't come over. All right. Finish playoff 2. So 2 points. And now this was early, so we weren't even going yet. But when X5 comes, all right, what are the reads? We break it down. I'm just showing you kind of the abbreviated, but that should be a bounce or a lob to the big on the porch. If it's the right read and it goes in, you get the points. But can you play off 2 to avoid a charge? Can you make the right read, deliver the pass? For us, this slot drive, the big is engaging here. He's getting to the window. We talk about pulling behind and not too far, but we encourage the coaches initially to make it an easy read, and then eventually it'll be a fly around scramble to a one more read. So here he got the pull behind. If he takes this, he would go one more. So just repping these reads out of the slot drive to put it all together. So we got a little bit tighter with this as we went. This was early in the summer.
Is this done for like a time period? Like how fast can we get to 50?
Yeah. So what we did was that would be the next layer. So no, we haven't yet, but I like that. We've been going to, so slot drive to 20. We might go middle drive to 20. We might go baseline drive to 20. So just kind of mixing up the reads and really trying to program our guys this summer on these, trying to get the dominoes going, and can you make the right read out of it? Similar type concept here on a smaller scale. So GA rebounding, GA passing, the 0.5 mentality, right? So just if you're open, you're reading before the catch. If you're open, shoot the ball. If not, you're going one more, hopefully not hitting the side of the backboard like that. But catch and shoot threes, they're green for us. We want those. But just quick decisions, just like that. And now can that be a strike? So 2-on-1, and then we went 3-on-2, same thing. So swing, strike, open threes, got to knock them in. Mm-hmm. So just training the 0.5 mentality. So is this shooting? Yes, but it's not mindless. You used that word. I like that. It's not mindless. And we're talking about as things come up, we're clipping it, we're sending it to them, and we're teaching them like, hey, think about this or remember to do this, even in these drill settings. But quick decisions, 0.5. Just a couple things for the big, same things. We would break it down. So on that slot drive, circling under, we're repping, we're finishing. We call, similar type dunker. We call it the porch, but different porch finishes or different drive and kick. But, these are done in small groups. These are done in team, just building this sequence. A package on the dunker. So we, simplified for them early. Coach Lanier from his days at Tennessee, shut the door is a term we use almost for this, big here, thinking about his shoulders being a door. You're shutting it first, and now you're playing against X5 here coming over late, potentially on that help up situation. But shut the door, finish same side, the same way the guards, maybe have that finishing package, they're working there on the porch. Shut the door, one dribble finish on the same side, but just a sequence that we do a lot. Footwork, tighten that up. And then obviously being able to finish around the rim, which is green for us. And then same thing, shot fake, finish on the other side. Elbow drives, whether it's out of a short roll or just some different things offensively where our bigs might be at the elbow, being able to finish off 2 feet, being able to rip it back. Different finishes, but same thing with reads and just taking time, breaking down the footwork. And then we play out of a lot of pick and roll. This right here is a little, not great clips of this, but we play out of this angle screen, different types of rolls. We would roll different ways potentially against certain coverages, but just those finishes touch finishes, quick up finishes, and then just maybe adding token defense there, player on player, just to rep that. So just wanted to give a couple, this is put together relatively quickly, but some position-specific things, guards and bigs, but emphasis on finishing, shooting, passing early, building it up into concepts. And then that's what I wanted to do here at the end. So I'll fast forward this. Offensive rebounding, I'll just throw this in there. This is basic, but offensive rebound, sprint to the glass. We were one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the country last year. We had personnel to match that, but just the mentality of going to get it at its highest point and finishing. So now putting it all together, like you said, the carryover, right? So we talked about race and some different things, but we want to pitch the ball ahead. And Coach Lanier gives our guards especially a lot of freedom, but open, catch and shoot threes, green, we want to take them early and often. Tried to find a couple clips of the actual breakdown that we talked about in a 5-on-5 situation. So there's Trey Broadnax getting to his Barkley. He's got a smaller defender on him and being able to have a finishing package, right? So he's there. We get to our appropriate spacing. And so the Barkley was not shown in this film, but obviously the Barkley is one of our, within our package of finishes, and there he is executing that. Something we talked about, all right, green, catch and shoot threes. But in this situation, for a really good three-point shooter, we would love to keep this 3 a 3. So in clock outs and player development, we talk about that. So instead of making this 3 a long 2, shot fake sidestep, keeping the 3 a 3, introducing them to that. We talked about snapping. So here in this side pick and roll against aggressive coverage, he could snap it, but we also want to look to play through the short roll first. And so there, there's a big being able to finish over a guard, those finishes that we just repped in a live setting. We always talk to our guards about punishing an under. If it isn't under here, he goes over, but that opening in every pick and roll, you're being a threat to reject first. Like I said, the freedom that Coach Lanier gives our guards, we want these guys, if he's going to be late, so late, and this big's going to be so far back, we're taking that. And so we're repping it, and then we're letting it show up in 5-on-5, and we're encouraging it. We play in a lot of pick and roll, so we've worked on a lot of this stuff. Didn't show a lot of clips of the pick and roll breakdown, but we did the same thing. We started 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, but we always want to force the over. And then we want to say, okay, what's the coverage? What are you looking at? What are you reading? So we've repped this. The low man's in. All right, we're looking to skip it to the corner. What's he doing? He's getting to his window. And so that's when you watch this, you're like, okay, we've worked on it. We've repped it. Trey, good pass. Here's why. The low man was in. We also play out of gets. But I say that to say, all right, what is a get? At Rice, this is a get. That, little hit the big, chase it down. And that starts in player development, naming it, working on it. And so now Denver is really good playing out of gets. And there he is late, shoots that 3 with confidence, something that's been repped. We also play out of touch. It's been repped. We talk about it, talk about trying to create confusion there. Here's the pick and roll again. Aaron does a good job here. If we were watching this with Aaron, which is part of player development too, right? We're watching all this stuff, but getting guys in the office and watching film individually and sending them clips, after hours. But like here, his setup was really good. That setup got 2 on the ball. And now this is a pull up 2, which we're still, getting to know what guys can do. Late clock, this is a great shot, but with 25 on the clock, his speed, his setup, and that poor pick and roll defense allowed that shot. We play out of the short roll. So the passing, we encourage our bigs, we require our bigs to be good decision makers. So against the aggressive coverage, you're playing through the short roll. Now, is he going to throw one out of bounds? Potentially. But this summer, we really tried to see what our bigs could do out of these short rolls. So here he does a great job of recognizing the open man, but being able to make those plays, and Caden Powell is a great passer in those short rolls. All right, here playing out of a little 5 out, little zoom, They switch it out. We talked about the green, yellow, red. Okay, boom, over. We held on the weak side right there, but this great pickup pass, selling lies here with his eyes on this and then delivering this pass. So in player development, you're watching this and saying, okay, Trey, great job. You're working on those passing. Well, you're working on this catch with this big too. In player development, can he catch it? And now that's green, that's at the rim. Can you finish it? And then shooting, right? We're repping all these shots. Well, this is our 5-man pop in here out of this little angle screen. 24 should probably cut that stunt right there. But that's a wide open 3 for our 5. We want him shooting that. And so player development wise, our program has to fit, for Andrew there being able to make that catch and shoot 3. Decision making, playing out of 5 out, playing out of zooms. They switch it, little confusion on the switch. Great job by Alam here. Slipping it creates enough confusion for what we're telling our guys. That's green. We need more of that. Side note, 13, Andrew Akuchi there with a great one-handed pass, strike. And so a couple examples of just putting everything together. Same thing, little angle screen there. We cut the stunt. And now could he hit the cutter? Potentially. But can he make that pass and another strike there? And then attacking a closeout there. So we really require our bigs to be able to handle the ball and make decisions.